1, 2, 3,
Like most other American school children, I grew up reading textbooks about World War II. I learned that 400,000 American soldiers died during the war, and that families were separated and children were orphaned. But to me, those were just facts and statistics. I could measure the magnitude of war, but I didn't fully understand it until I landed in Normandy and talked to the soldiers who lived it. Now, this classroom was unlike any I'd ever studied in before. We had no desks or chairs or whiteboards, and lessons were taught on buses, on the sands of Omaha Beach, and over the dinner table, where we would lean into veterans and ask, "What did you do during the war?" And our teachers came from all walks of life. Some decided to go to college on the GI Bill after the war, while others, like Fred Nungesser, decided to take a month off and go directly to work. Some, like Tom Gardner, decided to stay in the service, while others, like Miss Betty Rosevear, raised a family and traveled the world. I could go on and on about the lessons I learned, but what sticks with me the most isn't necessarily the war stories like coconuts falling on jeeps as told by Jack Stowe, or even kamikaze pilots on Iwo Jima as told by Dick Ramsey, but rather the quieter private conversations where veterans would shift from talking about what happened in the past to their concerns about the future. They say it's quite a different world than the one they grew up in, and quite a different world from the one they fought for. We weren't supposed to talk about politics on program, but we really didn't need to, because fundamentally the problem wasn't political. When I asked them, what's wrong with today's generation, time and time again, these veterans replied, people don't know how to be humans anymore. And I wondered about that, and I wondered what exactly it means to be human, and then I realized that the answer was modeled all around me in Normandy. On June 6th, for example, while entering the Overlord Museum, I was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time to witness and photograph the reunion of Raymond Revol and George Mullins of the 101st Airborne. Raymond's family was killed by shelling during the Battle of Carentan. He was orphaned at 8 years old and was taken in by George's unit. He was nicknamed Baby Camp and made their unofficial mascot. He stayed with the unit until they had to move on. After 81 years of not knowing what had happened to the other, this was the first time they had met since. I was crying, everyone was crying, and it was just a special moment that reminded me that these veterans didn't fight for land, they fought for people. It's the same sentiment echoed by a Delta representative a few days later at the farewell lunch about the importance of connecting the world, because as this experience has shown us all, it's truly about the people. Normandy wouldn't be what it is without the sincere appreciation and love that these French people have for these veterans. And this program itself wouldn't even exist without the veterans loving them back and wishing to return. Nowadays, stories like these are rarer and rarer. As the world keeps telling us to focus inward, we need these stories to remind us that we're a part of something bigger than ourselves, and it starts with loving, respecting, and being in relation with the people around us. These veterans, the best teachers I've ever had, taught me something I could have never learned inside a classroom: how to be human. Back then, to these veterans, it meant sacrifice, being 18 or 19 years old and storming the beaches of a foreign land to fight for freedom. Today, it means going back to Normandy 81 years later as victors and slowly healing the brokenness that the war created. To the people of Normandy, this means showing up year after year to watch a charter flight land, waving French and American flags, stopping by the side of the street to blow kisses and wave, and standing in the rain for hours just for a chance to say, "You're my heroes." To all of us, this means continuing to tell these stories to ensure that as a collective humanity, we never ever forget. And as for me, well, I seek to be a little more human every single day, whether it means mailing postcards to veterans, helping George Mullins publish his book, or even sending one of my own signed books to Wally King for his great-granddaughters. 81 years ago, World War II taught us just how evil humanity can be. But this year in Normandy, on June 6th, I learned just how much good we as people are capable of. And I think that's a really, really beautiful thing.